This week, the Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, clashed with Donald Trump, no less, on Twitter after the US president attacked our National Health Service, how dare he, saying it is going broke and not working. Now, Mr. Hunt responded that he was proud to be from a country where all get care no matter the size of their bank balance. But Donald Trump is correct, though not for the reasons he would like. Our NHS is failing. Longer life expectancy and increased demand has put the service under great pressure. But successive governments have kicked fixing the issue into the long grass. Now, there is a way forward, but it takes political courage. We must all contribute more if we want our NHS to survive. And I reckon the majority of the public would support this. Surveyable. This week, this summer, we mark the 70th anniversary of the NHS. As we do, a health service free at the point of use should make us all proud. But to maintain it, we all have to play our part.
Have I given my hand away? Do you think by my reaction? Let's just so for the viewers who aren't up to speed with the tweets, a bit more reading aloud from me. It starts with one from President Trump. The Democrats are pushing for universal healthcare while thousands of people are marching in the UK because their as in universal healthcare, system is going broken, not working. Dems, as in Democrats, want to greatly raise taxes for really bad and non-personal medical care. No thanks. To which, last one I read, I promise, Jeremy Hunt, Health Secretary, responds, I may disagree with claims made on that march, but not one of them wants to live in a system where 28 million people have no cover. He means the US. NHS may have challenges, but I'm proud to be from the country that invented universal coverage, where all get care no matter the size of their bank balance. I had to chuckle as I saw this all go through, because about 2 months ago, those on the left were saying the NHS is done for, the NHS isn't working, the NHS is on the point of failure, it's all... And then, of course, their great bogeyman, President Trump, comes out and says that, and they say, oh, no, oh, my God, how are we going to distance ourselves? He was only saying what they had been saying.
That's why I said he's right.
And he is right.
Yeah.
Let's say, and I'm happy to say here and now, the NHS has actually saved the life of one member of my family, and I would imagine it's helped for each and every one. It is an absolute... It is the crown jewels. It is the biggest jewel of our crown jewel. It is part of being British. However, where we part, and I've done a bit of research, is fixing the issue, we need to contribute more. Maajid. It's all right for intelligentsia like you to pound out a few more quid. There are people watching this who are on Struggle Street. Hold on one second. It's just, we are speaking in the week in which most people's council tax will go up by perhaps about 100 quid. This is money these folk have to find. So sitting there in your very smart suit, I envy you that one. You went on about my suit. You've got a lovely suit. Oh, we'll pay a bit more. No, this is what we do. Lastly, do you know the money that is wasted in the NHS? It costs about £2.5 billion a week. Let's just pause for the viewers. 2.5. Imagine that piled up. That's each week. And why is it that? Because in one instance, we charge £1,500 for a £2 pot of moisturiser. No one ever does anything about that.
We didn't waste £2 billion a week. It cost £2 billion.
Hold on. And another one, a pack of 12 rubber gloves that would normally cost 35p is being paid £16.47. There's plenty of money there. We just need to spend it better.
You know, Nick, you talk about, and I completely agree with you, and I can give you some more figures about the wastage, 160 million quid on
You'll see my surgical gloves and
that patients don't need, 1.3 billion on negligence claims, but anyway, 7.6 billion on things like expensive toilet rolls. But anyway, that's by the by. We all talk about how much we love the NHS, but all of us are guilty of abusing it, and we're guilty because 8 million missed hospital appointments.
DNAs.
Hang on a second. 8 million missed hospital appointments. Every hospital appointment costs the NHS 120 quid. That's £1 billion a year. 9 million people are sent away from A&E every year with just guidance, which means they didn't have to bother A&E in the first place. They could have gone to their local pharmacist, they could have gone to their GP, they could have dialed 111 and got help and assistance. So, you know, when we say we love the NHS, if we love it, we've got to stop abusing it and treating it properly.
Can I just put some context here? Okay? I mean, very theatrical, Nick, well done. Right?
Thanks, good.
But I've got to say, so the Commonwealth Fund investigated all the health services in 11 Western countries, and they found
we came out top,
2 years in a row that our NHS came out top.
Now, not for outcomes.
But it doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. And actually, it's because we have such a robust debate around it is one of the reasons why
our cancer survival care rate is one of the worst in the world.
In terms of percentage of GDP, we actually spend less than the Americans do on their privatised system. The Americans spend 16.6% of their GDP, and we only spend 9.9% of ours.
But the public should...
Last thing, Carol, just last thing, I promise.
Okay.
The money. You spoke of the money. Yes, it's a nice suit, thank you. It's a man that makes the suit. But what I'd say is actually...
Oh, yes, a handmade suit.
Well, I'd say it's It's the Baker Commission recommendation, officially, that looked into this, and they found that if you add merely 1 penny on our national insurance contributions, we could help contribute to the NHS, and 83% of the public, Nick...
It's the Barker Commission.
Yeah, Barker,
yeah.
sorry,
Kate
Barker.
Barker.
Yeah. That's what I thought you could interrupt me there.
No.
Thank you. 83% of the public back raising taxes.
But you wouldn't have to do that if we stopped the wastage at source, and that's the point. If people were a bit more considerate of the service, there wouldn't be as much...
That feeds into what I want to say, which is about everybody thinks we all pay for the NHS, but it's free at the point of use.
But it's not free.
It's not free. We all pay for it. And in Germany and in other countries, they have a contributory system whereby you see on your tax return or on your payslip how much, 14%, 20% of this has gone into your healthcare system. As a result, they have a far more efficient healthcare system, for example, in Germany, where there isn't a waiting list. You know, you have a hospital bed because people know what they're paying for, and they make demands on their health service. Therefore, the 1,500 pot moisturiser issue will not arise in Germany because people are aware of what they're paying for, and they want value, and they demand it, and they get it. Go to Europe. They spend about the same as we do, about 11%, which is not a lot more than 9.9% on their healthcare systems, and they don't have perma-crisis.
Michelle.
My take on this, and I love the NHS, obviously, we use it, and, you know, I want it to continue. I wouldn't be comfortable paying any more money at the moment towards the NHS, and that is because I think that there are structural inefficiencies within the NHS. So, yes, there's examples of creams and all the rest of it, but I think it's way, way deeper than this, and I think that somebody needs to have the courage to say, look, the NHS, currently one of the biggest, if not the biggest employer in our country, we have so many people. They're wildly inefficient at deploying IT services that could add efficiency, for example. They've wasted billions of pounds on failed IT projects, I can assure you of that. And actually, what somebody needs to do is have the courage to pick this thing up and look at it and go, right, it was created, you know, decades ago. What we need to do now, 70 years, we need to look at this system. Is it still fit for purpose? Have we got the right people in the right places? And I personally would argue not. But I would suspect, not being an expert in this, I would suspect that what that would mean is potential redundancies in back office staff, administrative staff, mid-level management, and I don't believe there is a politician in the land that has the courage, because it's such a political football. I don't think any politician in the land has the courage to follow that through.
Well, wait, the Lib Dems are saying put 1p on national insurance to pay for the
you're missing my point. You're missing my point. I'm saying I don't want to pay any more until the system is effective.
A lot of people, 73% of the country are prepared to pay more.
83%.
83%.
Yeah, but I'm not.
So you're you're in a minority.
But I'm explaining why. I'm not.
Are you worried about my surgical gloves? Well, is it a serious? I mean, it is a waste. I know.
It's a bit like the EU debate, though. For me, it doesn't have to be either or. The EU is inefficient. It is bureaucratic. It's red tape laden, but at the same time,
reform from within.
Yeah, like Westminster.
So why would you
we have an unelected House of Lords. It doesn't mean we scrap Parliament, right? So our NHS may not necessarily be functioning as efficiently as it should be, but we can do both. We can add a penny to the national insurance contributions while making savings elsewhere.
But you might not need to. If you structure this effectively, you probably won't need to raise pennies.
Michelle, you always talk about this as if no one has ever actually looked at the inefficiencies and looked at a management overhaul. They do this constantly, every single year.
They do it successfully, because I can point you to billions of pounds of wasted IT projects.
Why don't they ask you to go in and reform the NHS?
Hello, if anyone's watching, I am available.
Rachel,
I'll do a half-price rate, I'll go in there.
I get what you're saying, but, you know, £7.6, the procurement thing is a particularly big thing, because since the NHS started, they've been buying stuff in the same way. So one hospital will pay 66 pence for a tightrope, another one will pay 20 pence. Same for wheelchairs, crutches, all the rest of it. That is not hard to sort out.
It doesn't have to be either or.
But also what I think would be useful, if when we all get treatment in the NHS, we know, you talked about it being free, it's not free. If all of us were given a bill, not to pay, but to show how much it costs.
Good plan.
And it would give us an idea, and then we won't abuse it in future. If we tell people it's 120 quid every time you don't bother to turn up for an appointment, and also, 20% of all hospital appointments are wasted because of people's selfishness, because they just can't pick up the phone.